How are you thinking about DeepSeek and all the disruption it's caused?
That's a great question, and we think that the timing of the announcement by DeepSeek, but also Alibaba, is very fascinating because it follows in not too long the duration of the announcement by the Trump administration to incentivize a major spending program on AI by a lot of the tech companies. So it's an attempt by the Chinese to wrestle control of that market, and actually their focus is not so much on selling to US tech companies, it's the rest of the world. Just like the automotive, just like the rare earth metals industries, this is a key focus area for China to gain significant market share in those markets outside of the US. So we definitely see it as a wake-up call for the US technology complex. And at the margin, it's probably disinflationary, given that the cost margins and the profile will be somewhat inside the likes of the US value-add proponents of AI will be. And that will create also some rethink amongst the large tech companies around their CapEx commitments around AI, not this year, but beyond. And indeed, Microsoft did announce, and they guided to the market, that the growth of CapEx around AI will moderate in 2026 versus 2025.
Oh, don't you think these companies should now start signaling and messaging more to the market on how they see return on investment?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, ultimately, they're quite happy with share price momentum and the discounting of a strong growth picture. So why spoil that party? Why burst that balloon? I mean, ultimately, as well, that there's a question mark over their own degrees of visibility.
That was okay, Mark, till DeepSeek came and showed them how it's done at a lower cost. And, cost effectiveness is something that ultimately will catch up with the markets. Not now, but if NVIDIA is a $3 trillion stock, it's a matter of time, right? Making these stocks extremely vulnerable at these valuations.
The post-mortem on whether DeepSeek is a genuine advancement still hasn't taken place. We think at the end of the day what it will show is that it will be a very, very viable solution for the lower end of the market, the mass market, but not necessarily the higher end, really exponentially progressive applications. And that's why we think for the time being the kind of valuation multiples that the large cap tech complex in the US currently trade at are sustainable for a period of time. But China is constantly moving forward. It's not standing still. So even though DeepSeek may in of itself not necessarily push the boundaries out at what Alibaba is doing, what other tech companies in China are doing, we'll probably find out in the next 6 to 12 months the kind of advances that we can expect there as well.
Right. I've been thinking about it since the last couple of days about how TikTok is now dominating the social media space, right? BYD is not in the US, but it's giving Tesla a run for its money when it comes to EVs. Most people who've driven a BYD say it's a superlative experience compared to Tesla. And now in AI, of course there are other businesses as well, but in AI you have DeepSeek. Do you think it's going to be challenging for the US to keep its supremacy? And yet that US exceptionalism story has legs.
Yeah, we're in probably innings 2 or 3 of a major global pacing rivalry of competition between the US and China across major industries that will dominate the future economic momentum of the world economy. So we talk about AI, but also automotive, rare earth metals, anything which gives a country a technological edge and supremacy, whether it's on terra firma, whether it's in space as well. So expect an ongoing zigzag of headlines which force investors to rethink the extent to which US assets should trade at such a sizable premium over the rest of the world. So technological supremacy is intact for the foreseeable future, but the extent to which US assets should continue to command such a premium over rest of world assets is definitely going to be called into question.
Yeah.